Success starts with the mind, and weak habits are the silent killers of progress. If you've been feeling stuck or frustrated with your results, it's time to face the truth. Weak habits are holding you back, and you might not even realize it. These habits are the small, seemingly harmless choices you make every day, choices that drain your energy, time, and potential. But here's the key: you have the power to change them. The moment you decide to educate your mind to break free from these habits is the moment your life shifts. It's not about grand gestures or overnight success. It's about consistent, intentional change in the way you think, act, and grow every single day. If you're tired of being trapped in the cycle of bad habits, now is the time to take control. In this video, we'll show you how to identify, challenge, and replace weak habits with actions that will actually move you closer to your goals. Get ready to break free, and build a mindset that powers your success. It's time to educate your mind and eliminate what's holding you back once and for all. Let's get started. Chapter 1: Embrace discomfort as the key to true growth. To truly change your life, you have to understand this one key idea: embrace discomfort as the key to true growth. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, it might even sound strange. After all, who wants to be uncomfortable? Who seeks out discomfort on purpose? But here's the thing: growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. It doesn't happen when you're sitting back, relaxed, feeling good, and avoiding challenges. Growth happens when you push yourself to the edge of your limits, when you do the things that make you feel uneasy and uncertain. Growth is about challenging yourself, stretching yourself, and ultimately becoming someone who can do more, be more, and achieve more. When you look at successful people, those who really make a difference in the world, what do you think got them there? Was it easy for them? Did they take the easy route and just hope that everything would work out? Of course not. They went through hardships, challenges, and obstacles that forced them to grow, and they embraced that discomfort. They recognized that it was a necessary part of their journey. You see, we all want a better life, a more fulfilling life. But here's the truth: the path to a better life is not lined with comfort. It's not about always seeking pleasure and avoiding pain. It's about becoming stronger, smarter, and more capable through the tough experiences. You've got to let go of the belief that life should always be easy. If you're waiting for everything to fall into place without effort or hardship, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Let me ask you a question: what would you be willing to do to change your life? How far would you go to create the future you want? Because I'll tell you this: the future doesn't just appear. You don't just wake up one day and find yourself living the life you've always dreamed of. You have to work for it. You have to face your fears, tackle challenges head-on, and push through the discomfort that comes with it. Every successful person has been where you are now, thinking about how to overcome their weak habits, wondering how to step up and how to get better. The difference is they didn't shy away from the discomfort, they leaned into it. Discomfort is not a sign that you're failing, it's a sign that you're growing. Think about it: when you're lifting weights at the gym, it's the burn in your muscles that signals growth. If you feel no resistance, if you're not pushing your limits, your muscles don't grow. The same principle applies to your mind and your habits. If you're not feeling some discomfort in the process of breaking your weak habits, then you're not growing, you're not pushing yourself to be better. The discomfort you feel when you're trying to break an old habit, whether it's procrastination, laziness, negative thinking, or self-doubt, is a sign that your old patterns are being challenged. Your mind is uncomfortable because it's trying to hold on to the familiar, to the things that have kept you stuck in the past. But you're trying to move forward, you're trying to break free. And that's why it feels uncomfortable. The old you doesn't want to let go, it wants to stay in the safe zone. But the new you, the better version of yourself, wants to break out. And that's when you have to choose: will you stay stuck, or will you push through the discomfort and grow? You've got to understand that nothing worthwhile comes easy. The habits you have today didn't form overnight, they were built through repetition over time, and they became comfortable for you. But those habits are not serving you, they're keeping you from your best self. And the only way to change them is by taking deliberate action, by creating new habits that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. And that's where the discomfort comes in. Here's the thing: every time you choose to do something difficult, every time you face a challenge that scares you or pushes you to your limits, you're getting stronger. You're not only building new habits, but you're also building the mental and emotional strength to face even bigger challenges in the future. The more you do this, the more you embrace discomfort, the easier it becomes. It's like exercising a muscle: the more you work it, the stronger it gets. The same goes for your mind and your habits. Think about the last time you really grew as a person. Was it when things were going smoothly, when everything was comfortable and you were just cruising along? Or was it when you were faced with a difficult situation, a challenge that forced you to rise to the occasion, to change your mindset, and to push through? I guarantee that the times you grew the most were the times when you had to dig deep, face your fears, and embrace the discomfort that came with it. Let's take a look at the idea of breaking weak habits. Weak habits, whether they're procrastination, negative thinking, or avoiding hard work, are comfortable, they feel familiar. You know them, you've been doing them for years. But if you want to change, if you want to create new habits that lead to success, you have to be willing to leave behind that comfort. You have to push through the discomfort of doing something new, something different, something that scares you. For example, let's talk about starting a new routine. Maybe you've been struggling with getting up early, exercising, or prioritizing your goals. You know you should do it, but it's uncomfortable. It's hard to get out of bed early in the morning, it's hard to stick to a new exercise routine, it's hard to turn off distractions and focus. But here's the secret: that discomfort means you're on the right track. If you were doing something easy, something that didn't challenge you, you wouldn't be growing. It's only by embracing the discomfort of doing things differently that you begin to break free from old weak habits and create new, stronger ones. When you embrace discomfort, you open the door to personal growth. You stop being controlled by fear and laziness, and you start taking control of your life. You begin to make decisions based on where you want to go, not where you've been. And that's how you start to build a life that's stronger, more successful, and more fulfilling. So the next time you face discomfort, don't shy away from it, don't let it scare you, don't let it make you retreat into old habits. Instead, recognize it for what it is: a signal that you are growing, that you are changing, and that you are stepping into your best self. Embrace the discomfort, push through it, and keep going. Because on the other side of discomfort is your true potential, on the other side is the person you've always been meant to be. And when you embrace discomfort, you kill those weak habits that have been holding you back and create new, empowering ones that propel you forward. Remember, growth requires effort, and that effort is often uncomfortable. But that discomfort is what will shape you into the person you need to be in order to create the life you desire. So, choose discomfort, choose growth, choose to become the person who breaks free from weak habits and builds a future full of strength, resilience, and success. Chapter 2: Stop waiting for motivation and create your own. When it comes to building a successful and fulfilling life, there's one thing that holds most people back more than anything else: waiting for motivation. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that motivation is something you need to find before you can take action. You tell yourself, "I'll do it when I feel motivated." But the reality is that motivation is not something you can rely on, it's not something that magically appears when you need it most. If you wait around for motivation to strike, you'll find yourself waiting forever. Instead, you need to take control and create your own motivation. Now, let's break this down. Motivation is not a mystical force that shows up when the stars align or when the mood strikes, it's a product of action. It's a byproduct of doing the things you know you need to do, it's a habit in itself. You create motivation when you take the first step, when you do something that propels you forward, even if you don't feel like it. The real truth is that motivation isn't something you wait for, it's something you generate. Think about it, when you take action, even when you don't feel like it, you start building momentum. Momentum is like a snowball rolling down a hill, the more you do, the more momentum you gain. And the more momentum you gain, the more motivated you feel. It's a cycle that feeds on itself. But it all starts with action, it starts with choosing to take that first step, even when your mind is telling you to wait for the perfect moment or to wait for the perfect feeling. There's a saying that goes, the first step is the hardest. And while that may be true, it's also the most important. Because once you take that first step, you've broken through the barrier of inertia. You've done something that moves you forward, and that creates a sense of accomplishment. That sense of accomplishment fuels your motivation. And suddenly you're not waiting for motivation, you're creating it yourself. You're creating a habit of taking action, and that action becomes the foundation of your success. You see, the problem with waiting for motivation is that it often comes with conditions. I'll work out when I feel motivated, I'll write that book when I feel inspired, or I'll make that call when I feel ready. But life doesn't work like that. If you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll never take action. The perfect time rarely comes. It's always easier to wait, to procrastinate, to put things off for another day. But the key to progress is taking action regardless of how you feel. Think about this for a moment, how many times have you waited for motivation to come before you started something? Maybe you've been thinking about losing weight, getting fit, or starting a business, but you've been waiting for that spark of motivation to push you into action. But let me tell you something, that spark doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. It's created by you through the decisions you make and the actions you take. Motivation is not something that falls out of the sky, it doesn't come from a perfect day or a perfect mood, it's something you create by showing up and doing the work even when you don't feel like it. It's about building habits that support your success, habits that keep you moving forward even when the excitement fades. Because here's the truth, excitement fades, inspiration fades. But your habits can carry you through even when those things are gone. Your habits can become the engine that keeps you moving forward even when motivation is nowhere to be found. It's easy to be motivated at the beginning of a new project or a new goal. The excitement is high, the possibilities are endless, and you feel like you're on top of the world. But that feeling doesn't last forever. And when it fades, that's when most people give up, they stop showing up, they stop taking action, and they wait for the motivation to come back. But successful people don't wait, they don't rely on motivation to do the work. They create their own motivation by committing to the process, by taking consistent action even when the going gets tough. So how do you create your own motivation? How do you break free from the trap of waiting for it to come to you? The answer is simple, you create momentum. And the way you create momentum is by taking action. Every time you take action, no matter how small, you build momentum, you create a sense of accomplishment that propels you forward. And as you continue to take action, that momentum grows, it becomes easier to take the next step and the next, until one day you look back and realize that you've built something incredible all because you stopped waiting for motivation and started creating it yourself. Start by setting small, achievable goals. These are goals that you can accomplish every day. Maybe it's writing 500 words a day, or exercising for 20 minutes, or working on your business for 30 minutes. These are small actions that are easy to take but will create momentum over time. When you accomplish these small tasks, you'll feel a sense of progress, you'll feel like you're moving forward, and that feeling will fuel your motivation. The more you do, the more motivated you'll become. Next, make sure you show up every day, even when you don't feel like it. This is where consistency comes in. Consistency is the key to building habits that create motivation. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect mood, it's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, and doing the work. The more consistently you show up, the more automatic the process becomes. Eventually, you'll reach a point where you don't even think about it anymore, you just do it. But here's the thing, you can't rely on willpower alone. Willpower will fail you, it will run out, and you'll be left in a place where you feel like giving up. That's why you need to build systems that support your success. This means setting up habits and routines that make it easier to take action even when you don't feel motivated. If you want to work out, set a time every day to exercise. If you want to write a book, set a daily writing goal. If you want to improve your health, meal prep in advance. These systems take the decision-making out of the equation, they make it easy to take action even when motivation is low. Another powerful tool for creating your own motivation is visualization. Take time each day to visualize the life you want to create. Picture yourself achieving your goals, and really feel the emotions of success. This visualization will help keep you focused on your desired outcome, and it will fuel your motivation to keep going. When you see the end result in your mind, it becomes easier to take the necessary steps to get there. Finally, remember this, you are the one in control. You are the one who decides whether or not to take action. You are the one who creates your own motivation. It's not something that comes from the outside. It's not something that you wait for, it's something you create by taking responsibility for your life and your actions. When you stop waiting for motivation to come to you and start creating it yourself, you take control of your destiny, you stop being a passenger in your own life and you become the driver. You take the wheel and you steer yourself toward the life you want to create. In conclusion, stop waiting for motivation. It's time to create your own. Motivation is not something that magically appears when you need it, it's something you build by taking action, creating momentum, and showing up every day. It's about building habits that support your success, even when the excitement fades. The more you do, the more motivated you become. So, take action today, and create the motivation you need to achieve your goals and build the life you deserve. Chapter 3. Commit to small daily actions that build massive results. When we think about success, we often think about big, dramatic leaps forward. We imagine that success happens in large, bold moves, that it's about making huge changes all at once or reaching massive milestones in a single go. But the truth is, success isn't about one big, dramatic action, it's about committing to small daily actions that build over time. These small actions are the ones that lead to massive results. You see, most people look at successful individuals and think they must have had some incredible breakthrough moment or they must have gotten lucky. But what you don't see is the hours of consistent work that went on behind the scenes. You don't see the small, seemingly insignificant actions that were performed day after day, actions that eventually led to the success we now admire. The path to achieving your biggest goals isn't paved with grand gestures or overnight transformations, it's paved with small, consistent actions that you commit to daily. Every day you show up, every day you put in a little effort, you're building something bigger. Every action compounds, and over time the results become massive. Think about a snowball. At first, it's small, it's just a tiny ball of snow. But as it rolls down the hill, it picks up more snow and it grows. That's how your efforts work. Small actions at the start might seem insignificant, but with time they'll build momentum and grow into something massive. This principle is simple, but many people overlook it. They're looking for the magic formula, the big breakthrough moment. They want to skip the steps, avoid the small, seemingly mundane actions, and jump straight to the finish line. But here's the truth, there's no shortcut to success. The process is what leads to the result, and the process is built on small, consistent actions. Let's break this down. We all know how easy it is to get caught up in the excitement of big goals. It's easy to get motivated by the thought of what you'll achieve in the future. But motivation is temporary. What lasts is discipline, consistency, and the commitment to doing the work even when you don't feel like it. The key to building momentum is to focus on small, achievable tasks that you can commit to every day. It's about developing the habit of showing up day in and day out and putting in the effort. When you do this, it's not about how big the task is, it's about creating a habit, a routine, and a commitment to progress. For example, let's say you want to get fit. You could go out and try to do an intense workout, or you could start small, commit to a 20-minute walk every day. It may seem insignificant at first, a 20-minute walk might not seem like it's going to change your life. But what happens over time is that you start to build a habit, you commit to it every day. And before you know it, that 20-minute walk turns into a 30-minute walk, and then a 45-minute jog. The small action snowballs into bigger and better actions, and suddenly you've built a fitness routine. The results compound. Or let's say you want to improve your career. You may dream of landing a big promotion, but what are you doing every day to make that happen? Maybe it's as simple as taking 15 minutes each morning to read an article or a book that enhances your knowledge in your field. At first, it might seem like you're not making much progress, but over the weeks, months, and years, that 15 minutes adds up. You're constantly improving your skills, constantly getting better, and when the opportunity comes, you're ready. The key is to commit to these small actions, even when they don't feel important at the moment. It's easy to think that one small action won't make a difference. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that unless you're making a massive change, you're not making progress. But that's a lie. Every small action adds up, and before long you'll see how far you've come. The results are not instantaneous, but they are inevitable if you keep showing up and putting in the work. People often give up too soon because they don't see immediate results. They don't realize that success is a process, and the results come when you've built up enough momentum. If you stop, if you quit because the results aren't happening fast enough, you'll never reach your goal. But if you commit to small actions and you stay consistent, the results will come, it's just a matter of time. So, how do you stay committed to these small daily actions? It starts with setting realistic goals. Don't set yourself up for failure by aiming for an unrealistic goal. Break your bigger goals into smaller, manageable actions. Instead of thinking, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, focus on committing to a daily action like drinking enough water, eating more vegetables, or getting a workout in. These are the small steps that over time will lead you to your goal. Another important factor in staying committed to small daily actions is building a routine. When you make the actions a part of your daily routine, they become non-negotiable. The more you repeat them, the more ingrained they become in your life. It doesn't take willpower anymore, it takes habit. And when something becomes a habit, you don't have to think about it, you just do it. Let's look at another example. Let's say you're working on building a business. Instead of overwhelming yourself by thinking of all the things you need to do, break it down into small, manageable steps. Start by setting aside time each day to work on one task, whether it's writing an email, doing research, or making a phone call. If you commit to doing just one small task every day, you'll make steady progress. And over time, those small tasks will add up to something much bigger. And remember, it's important to be patient. When you focus on small, consistent actions, the results won't come overnight, they won't come in a week or even a month, but they will come. And when they do, you'll realize that all those small actions were the key to your success. Success is not a straight line, and it's not always a quick fix, it's a series of small, incremental steps that when added together create something extraordinary. One of the hardest things for people to accept is that success takes time, it takes effort, it takes consistency. But that's also what makes it so rewarding. The satisfaction of knowing that you put in the work day after day is the kind of fulfillment that makes success worth it. Let me tell you something important, your daily actions matter. The little things you do each day are the things that shape your future. They are the building blocks of your success. You might not see the results today or tomorrow or even next week, but over time those small actions will create massive results. So stay committed, stick to the plan, show up every day and do the work even when you don't feel like it. And as you keep going, remember that the process is the key, it's not about the destination, it's about who you become along the way. The small daily actions are not just building your success, they're building your character, your resilience, and your ability to persevere. They're making you stronger, they're making you better. And they're preparing you for the success that's coming your way. In the end, the key to success isn't in waiting for the perfect moment, it's in committing to the process. It's in committing to the small daily actions that over time will lead you to massive results. You may not see the progress right away, but if you stay consistent, you will. And one day, you'll look back and realize that it wasn't the big moments that got you there, it was the small daily actions you took day after day that made all the difference. Chapter 4, Take full responsibility for your life and choices. Taking full responsibility for your life and your choices is one of the most empowering things you can do. It's the moment you realize that no one else is responsible for where you are or where you're going, it is entirely up to you. Too many people spend their lives blaming external factors, society, the economy, their upbringing, or their past experiences. They place the responsibility of their happiness, their success, and their failures on everything and everyone but themselves. But here's the truth, your life is yours, and the choices you make every single day are the ones that shape your future. We all have the power to choose. We have the power to choose how we react to situations, how we respond to challenges, how we take action in the face of adversity, and how we continue moving forward despite the obstacles. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop giving away your power to circumstances. You stop allowing the world to dictate how you feel, how you think, and how you act. Instead, you start making decisions that align with your goals, your values, and your vision for the future. So, what does it really mean to take full responsibility for your life and choices? It's about recognizing that your current reality, whether good or bad, is a result of the decisions you've made up to this point. Every choice you've made has led you to where you are now. If you're happy with where you are, congratulations, you've made the right choices. But if you're not, that's okay, too. The good news is that you have the power to change that, you have the power to make different decisions, to take different actions, and to create a new reality for yourself. We often hear people say, "I'm not where I want to be because of my circumstances." But circumstances are just temporary, they don't define you. What defines you are the decisions you make in response to those circumstances. You might not be able to control the world around you, but you can control your reactions to it. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop waiting for things to change on their own, you stop hoping that your situation will improve without any effort on your part. Instead, you take action, you make the choice to create the change you want to see. This doesn't mean that everything in your life will magically fall into place the moment you decide to take responsibility. It means that you take control of your actions, your mindset, and your future. It means that when things get tough, you don't blame others, you look within yourself and ask, what can I do differently? What choice can I make today that will move me closer to where I want to be? One of the most important steps in taking full responsibility is understanding that you are not a victim. Being a victim means that you're at the mercy of external forces. It means that you've given up your power to circumstances, and you believe that you have no control over what happens to you. But the moment you take responsibility, you take your power back, you become the creator of your own destiny. You understand that while you may not be able to control everything that happens, you can control how you respond, what you do next, and how you move forward. Taking responsibility means that you stop making excuses. Excuses are the easy way out. They allow you to justify why things aren't working for you. They give you permission to sit back and wait for someone else to fix your problems. But when you take responsibility, you realize that no one is coming to rescue you. It's up to you to create the change you want. It's up to you to make the choices that will take you to the next level. At first, taking responsibility can feel overwhelming. It can be scary to acknowledge that the power to change your life rests entirely in your hands. It can be tempting to look for reasons outside of yourself that explain why you're not where you want to be. But the truth is, the moment you take responsibility, you begin to shift your mindset. You move from being a passive participant in your life to an active creator. And that shift is the beginning of true empowerment. Let's talk about the role of accountability in taking responsibility. Accountability is the key to making lasting change. When you're accountable to yourself, you hold yourself to a higher standard, you stop making excuses and you start taking action. But accountability also means that you stop looking for validation from others, you stop seeking permission or approval. You trust yourself enough to make the decisions that are right for you, even when others may not understand. You take responsibility for your goals, your progress, and your setbacks. You don't rely on anyone else to tell you what to do, you are the leader of your own life. Taking responsibility also means that you stop blaming others for your mistakes. It's easy to blame the people around you for your shortcomings. It's easy to point the finger at your boss, your family, or your friends when things aren't going the way you want. But the truth is, no one else is responsible for your actions, you are. If you make a mistake, own it, learn from it, don't hide from it or pretend it didn't happen. Taking responsibility means that you learn from every experience, whether good or bad. It means you take the lesson and you use it to grow. Growth doesn't happen without mistakes, it happens when you take ownership of those mistakes and use them as stepping stones to reach your goals. It's also important to recognize that taking responsibility for your life is an ongoing process. It's not a one-time decision. Every day you'll be faced with choices, you'll be faced with opportunities to take responsibility or to make excuses, you'll be faced with moments where you can either take action or let fear hold you back. The more you practice taking responsibility, the easier it becomes. Over time, you'll develop a mindset of accountability and self-reliance. You'll stop waiting for the world to change for you and you'll start changing the world around you with the choices you make. One of the most empowering things about taking responsibility is that it gives you control. It takes away the helplessness and gives you the freedom to make choices that align with your values and vision for the future. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop being at the mercy of other people's decisions, you stop being controlled by the actions of others. Instead, you become the driver of your own destiny. Taking responsibility also means that you stop waiting for the perfect moment. There is never going to be a perfect time to make a change, there is never going to be a perfect set of circumstances that align with your goals. If you're waiting for everything to be just right before you take action, you'll be waiting forever. The truth is, the perfect moment is now. The only thing holding you back is your own willingness to take responsibility for your choices and take action. You don't need anyone's permission to take the first step toward the life you want. All you need is the courage to take responsibility and make the choice to act. Taking full responsibility for your life and choices is the foundation of personal growth. It's the starting point of everything you want to achieve. Once you take responsibility, you begin to take control. You stop waiting for things to happen and you start making things happen. You stop blaming others for your circumstances and you start creating the circumstances you want. It's about embracing the power within you to shape your future. Your life is yours to create, it's time to take full responsibility for it. Chapter 5. Stop making excuses and start taking consistent action. Stop making excuses and start taking consistent action. It's time to stop hiding behind the reasons, the whys that stop you from doing what you know you should do. Excuses are the enemy of progress. They're comfortable, they're easy, and they give you permission to avoid doing what needs to be done. But let me tell you this, excuses will never get you closer to your goals, they will only hold you back. They are the chains that keep you in place, preventing you from taking the next step forward in your life. So, what's the solution? Simple, take consistent action. No more waiting for the perfect time, no more hoping for motivation to strike, no more blaming circumstances. Start taking action every single day. The truth is that the best way to make progress is by simply doing something, no matter how small, every day. It's about building the habit of taking action, and that's what leads to results. It's not about waiting for the ideal conditions, it's about showing up and doing the work day in and day out. Here's the reality, we all face challenges, we all deal with moments of doubt, frustration, and confusion. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the challenges they face, it's their ability to push through those challenges and keep going despite the setbacks. It's the willingness to act even when you don't feel like it, it's the commitment to showing up, doing the work, and trusting that the results will come even when you can't yet see them. The key to breaking free from the cycle of excuses is realizing that you are in control. You have the power to take action, to make progress, and to change your life. But that requires you to take full ownership of your choices. Excuses don't solve problems, they only delay solutions. When you make excuses, you give up your power, you make yourself a victim of circumstances. But when you take action, you reclaim your power, you take responsibility for your future, and you move closer to your goals with every step you take. It's easy to come up with excuses. We've all done it. We tell ourselves that we're too busy, too tired, or that the timing just isn't right. We say that we don't have enough resources or that the road ahead is too difficult. But every time you make an excuse, you're allowing fear and doubt to take control of your life, you're giving them permission to dictate your actions. But let me ask you this, how long will you let excuses control you? How much longer will you allow them to stand between you and the life you want? The truth is, you can't afford to wait any longer, the time to act is now. What you have to understand is that progress doesn't happen overnight. It's not about making a huge leap all at once, it's about taking consistent, small steps every day. Every action you take, no matter how minor it seems at the time, is a building block towards something greater. It's about showing up when you don't feel like it, it's about putting in the work when no one else is watching, it's about developing the discipline to take action every day, even when it's hard, even when you don't see immediate results. One of the most powerful ways to overcome excuses is to create a plan. A plan gives you direction, purpose, and structure. It allows you to see exactly what needs to be done and when. When you have a plan in place, excuses become harder to justify, you know exactly what you need to do, and you know that if you don't do it, you're only delaying your success. A plan keeps you accountable, it forces you to take action, and it keeps you on track even when distractions and obstacles arise. But simply having a plan isn't enough. You need to commit to taking action on that plan every day. It's easy to get excited about a new idea or project, but the excitement fades when the work gets tough. That's when most people give up. But the people who succeed are the ones who keep going even when the excitement fades. They are the ones who show up every day, even when they don't feel like it. They don't let excuses stop them because they are committed to the process, not just the outcome. Another key to overcoming excuses is accountability. When you have someone holding you accountable, whether it's a mentor, a friend, or even yourself, it becomes harder to make excuses. You know that someone is expecting results, and that keeps you motivated. Accountability pushes you to follow through with your commitments. It forces you to stay focused and take consistent action even when things get tough. Accountability is a powerful motivator, and it's one of the best ways to keep excuses at bay. You see, excuses are often rooted in fear, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. But fear only has power if you let it. The more you act in spite of fear, the less control it has over you. Taking action is the antidote to fear. The more you show up and do the work, the less fear will hold you back. Every time you take a step forward, you build confidence and momentum. You start to realize that you are capable of more than you thought. The key is to keep going even when the fear is there. Take the action anyway. The fear will start to fade, and you'll build the strength to keep moving forward. One of the reasons people make excuses is because they believe they need motivation to take action. But let me tell you something, motivation doesn't come first, it comes after you start taking action. The idea that you need to feel motivated before you can take action is a trap. Motivation is fleeting, it's not something you can rely on every day. But when you start taking action, that's when the motivation follows. Action breeds motivation. The more you do, the more you want to do, the more you accomplish, the more momentum you build. Motivation doesn't create results, results create motivation. Another reason we make excuses is because we focus too much on the outcome. We look at the big picture and feel overwhelmed, the goal seems too far away, and the path to get there seems too difficult. But the truth is, the key to achieving any goal is focusing on the process, not the outcome. Focus on the small actions you can take today, focus on the next step in front of you, not the whole staircase. If you focus on the process and take consistent action, the results will follow. The big wins come from the small, consistent steps you take every day. The key is to stop waiting for the perfect moment or for motivation to strike. Take action right now, and let the process guide you toward the results you want. It's also important to remember that failure is not the end, it's a part of the process. When you take action, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to face setbacks. But that's okay, failure is not a reason to stop, it's a reason to keep going. Every failure is a lesson. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn and grow. The most successful people are the ones who fail the most because they take action despite the setbacks. They don't let failure stop them, they use it as fuel to keep moving forward. In the end, the most important thing you can do is stop making excuses and start taking consistent action. The results will come, they always do, but only if you keep showing up, keep doing the work, and keep pushing forward. The time to start is now. The longer you wait, the further you get from your goals. So take action today, and keep taking action every single day. Your future self will thank you for it. Chapter 6. Develop a winner's mindset by focusing on solutions. Developing a winner's mindset is one of the most crucial steps you can take toward achieving any goal you set in your life. The power of mindset cannot be overstated because it's the driving force behind everything you do. It shapes how you approach challenges, how you react to setbacks, and how you ultimately find success. It's the difference between giving up when things get tough and pushing through when every obstacle seems insurmountable. A winner's mindset is not something you're born with, it's something you develop over time. It's a mindset built on focusing on solutions rather than problems. Too often, people get stuck in the cycle of focusing on what's wrong, what's not working, and what they don't have. They let their circumstances dictate their outcomes. They think that success is about being in the right place at the right time or having the right resources. But that's not true. Success comes to those who focus on what they can control, who find ways to solve problems, and who relentlessly pursue solutions, no matter how difficult or complex the challenges may seem. One of the key factors in developing a winner's mindset is learning to focus on solutions instead of problems. It's easy to see a problem and feel overwhelmed by it. It's easy to look at a situation and think, I can't do this. It's easy to get stuck in negative thinking and let those negative thoughts prevent you from taking action. But here's the reality, focusing on problems only keeps you stuck, it keeps you trapped in a cycle of negativity and inaction, it makes you feel helpless, like there's no way forward. But the truth is, every problem has a solution. The difference between winners and losers is not the problems they face, but how they approach those problems. Winners focus on what they can do to solve the problem. They don't waste time complaining or blaming others, they take ownership of the situation and figure out how to move forward. They ask themselves, what can I do right now to improve this situation? They don't dwell on what's wrong, instead, they focus on what's right and how they can make things better. They see challenges as opportunities to grow, learn, and improve. They embrace obstacles as stepping stones on the path to success. The winner's mindset is built on the understanding that you are in control of your own life. It's about taking full responsibility for your actions, decisions, and results. Winners don't make excuses, they don't blame others for their circumstances. They understand that life is full of challenges, but it's how you respond to those challenges that defines your success. When you focus on solutions, you stop playing the victim and start becoming the hero of your own story. You take action instead of waiting for things to change on their own. One of the most powerful ways to develop a winner's mindset is to change the way you think about failure. Many people avoid taking risks or trying new things because they're afraid of failing. But the truth is, failure is not something to fear, it's something to embrace. Every successful person you know has experienced failure. In fact, failure is often a stepping stone to success. It's through failure that we learn the most valuable lessons. It's through failure that we develop the resilience and determination needed to keep going when things get tough. A winner's mindset sees failure as feedback. It sees failure as an opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. The key to developing a winner's mindset is to stop seeing challenges and setbacks as roadblocks and start seeing them as opportunities. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me, ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of focusing on what went wrong, focus on what you can do differently next time. Winners don't dwell on their mistakes, they learn from them, make adjustments, and keep moving forward. Another important aspect of a winner's mindset is the ability to stay focused and committed even when things aren't going well. It's easy to stay motivated when things are going smoothly, but true success comes from staying committed when things get tough. Life is full of ups and downs, and success isn't always a straight path. The ability to stay focused on your goals, even when you're faced with obstacles, is what separates winners from those who give up too soon. The winner's mindset is also about having the courage to take action, even when you don't know exactly what the outcome will be. Fear often holds us back from taking action, we worry about what might happen if we fail. But winners don't let fear stop them, they take action anyway, knowing that the only way to achieve success is through action. They understand that the path to success is not always clear, but they trust that by taking consistent action, they will find their way. When you focus on solutions, you open up a world of possibilities. You become resourceful, creative, and determined. Instead of looking for reasons why something can't be done, you start looking for ways to make it happen. You become proactive instead of reactive. You start to see the opportunities in every challenge. And that's when the magic happens, that's when you start to see results. A winner's mindset is also about surrounding yourself with the right people. The people you spend time with have a huge impact on your mindset. If you surround yourself with negative, defeatist people who constantly focus on problems, that's going to affect your own thinking. But when you surround yourself with people who focus on solutions, who are positive, motivated, and driven, that energy rubs off on you, you start to adopt their mindset, you start to think like they do. That's why it's important to build a network of supportive, like-minded people who will encourage you, challenge you, and help you stay focused on your goals. Finally, developing a winner's mindset means having the patience to keep going even when you don't see immediate results. Success takes time, it's not going to happen overnight. But winners understand that consistency and persistence are the keys to achieving their goals. They keep showing up every day, doing the work, even when they don't see the results right away. They trust the process, they know that every small step forward is bringing them closer to their goals. They keep their eyes on the prize, and they stay focused on the solution, not the problem. If you want to develop a winner's mindset, start by focusing on solutions. Shift your thinking from problems to opportunities. Take responsibility for your actions and decisions. Don't let failure stop you, use it as a learning experience. Stay focused and committed even when things get tough. Surround yourself with positive, solution-oriented people. And most importantly, keep taking action every single day. With the right mindset, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Chapter 7, Shift your focus from problems to opportunities. Every day, every single day, you face countless situations that could be framed as problems or opportunities. The way you see them, the lens through which you view these moments, determines the actions you'll take and ultimately the outcomes you'll experience. This is the power of shifting your focus. It's not about avoiding difficulties or pretending that problems don't exist, it's about how you choose to approach them and how you train your mind to see the potential that lies hidden within every challenge. The truth is that problems are an inevitable part of life. No one is immune. No matter how successful someone might be, they will still face challenges, obstacles, and difficulties. But here's the key: how we react to these situations defines us. People who view problems as permanent, overwhelming, or insurmountable will often feel stuck. They'll let fear, frustration, and self-doubt take over. But those who train their minds to see problems as temporary and filled with opportunity will not only overcome them, but they will thrive in the face of adversity. What I want you to understand is that every problem is an opportunity waiting to be discovered. It's a chance for growth, for learning, for improvement, and for creating something better than before. The moment you begin to shift your focus from what's wrong to what's possible, you begin to change your life in profound ways. This is a skill, one that you can develop over time, and it will serve you well in every aspect of your life. When you encounter a problem, whether in your personal life or your work, the natural tendency is to get caught up in the emotions of it. It's easy to get frustrated, upset, or discouraged. But successful people know that emotions, though real, are temporary. They recognize that if you spend too much time focusing on what's wrong, you miss out on what's right. They've trained themselves to immediately search for opportunities in every situation. When they face a setback, they don't allow themselves to wallow in self-pity, they look for the lesson, the chance to improve, and the path forward. The key to shifting your focus is to always ask yourself better questions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" or "What's the point of this?" start asking, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can I use this to get better?" These questions are powerful because they immediately direct your attention to the solution, the opportunity, the potential for growth. When you ask better questions, you get better answers, and those answers lead you to better results. This shift in perspective requires a shift in mindset. It's about training your brain to look for opportunities even in the most difficult circumstances. This doesn't mean that you'll never feel frustration or disappointment, that's part of being human. But when you adopt the mindset of opportunity, you don't stay stuck in those feelings, you acknowledge them, learn from them, and then move on. You're constantly looking for the next step, the next opportunity, the next way to turn things around. One of the reasons it's so important to focus on opportunities rather than problems is that focusing on problems keeps you in a reactive state. You're constantly trying to put out fires, dealing with things as they come at you without ever truly getting ahead. You're stuck in a cycle of constant firefighting, and that can wear you down. But when you focus on opportunities, you become proactive, you're looking ahead, planning, preparing, and taking deliberate action toward your goals. This shift in approach can transform the way you operate and significantly increase your chances of success. Let's take a closer look at how you can develop the habit of focusing on opportunities. First, it's important to realize that opportunities are everywhere. They're not some rare, magical thing that only a few people are lucky enough to stumble upon, they are there, right in front of you, all the time. Sometimes they come in the form of challenges, but they are still opportunities. The problem is that too many people are so focused on the surface-level issues that they miss the deeper opportunities that lie underneath. For example, if you lose your job, the immediate reaction might be panic or fear. You might think, "What am I going to do now? How will I pay my bills?" These are natural responses, but they don't serve you in the long run. Instead, if you shift your focus, you can start asking, "What does this open up for me? What can I do with this new opportunity? Is there a new career path I've been wanting to explore? Could this be a chance to improve my skills or start a business?" When you shift your focus in this way, you start to see possibilities instead of obstacles, you move from a state of fear to a state of possibility. Similarly, when you face a personal struggle like a relationship issue, the problem might seem overwhelming at first. You might feel hurt, angry, or confused. But if you shift your focus to see the opportunity in the challenge, you might discover that this is an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to communicate more effectively, to build a stronger connection, or to better understand yourself and your needs. Every problem, no matter how painful, holds a potential lesson, and it's your job to find it. Shifting your focus from problems to opportunities doesn't mean that you ignore reality or avoid dealing with tough situations. It means that you choose to see the possibilities rather than staying stuck in the problem. It means that you make a conscious decision to turn adversity into an advantage. The power of this shift lies in its ability to empower you. When you see opportunities in every situation, you stop feeling like a victim, you stop feeling helpless. Instead, you feel empowered because you know that you can always choose how to respond, you know that no matter what happens, there is always a way to turn things around. You are in control, you are the one who decides what the outcome will be. Now, let's take a step back and look at why this shift is so important. The world we live in is full of problems, big and small. There are always going to be things that go wrong, unexpected events, and challenges that arise. That's a given. But the key to success is not in avoiding problems or hoping they don't happen, the key to success is in your response. Your ability to choose how you react, how you interpret situations, and how you find opportunities in every challenge is what will determine your level of success. If you want to be successful, you have to stop seeing problems as obstacles and start seeing them as stepping stones. You have to train yourself to look beyond the surface and see the opportunities that lie beneath. You have to understand that your growth and progress are not dependent on whether or not you face problems, but on how you handle them. Are you going to let every challenge stop you in your tracks? Or are you going to use every problem as a chance to grow stronger, smarter, and more capable? Every day, you have the opportunity to shift your focus. Every day, you can choose to look for opportunities instead of problems. And with each shift, you will find yourself becoming more resilient, more capable, and more successful. This isn't just a mindset change, it's a way of life. It's how you can turn any situation to your advantage, how you can create your own success regardless of what's happening around you. So the next time you encounter a challenge, remember, it's not just a problem, it's an opportunity waiting to be discovered. Shift your focus, and watch how your world changes. Chapter 8. View failure as feedback and use it to grow. Failure is something that every successful person has faced. If you talk to anyone who has achieved something significant, you'll quickly realize that their journey was not smooth, and they didn't always win. In fact, the most successful individuals are often the ones who have failed the most. But here's the difference: they didn't let failure stop them, they saw it as feedback, not as a final verdict. They didn't allow failure to define them, but instead used it as a tool to help them grow. We've been conditioned to fear failure. From a young age, we're taught that failure is something to avoid, something to be ashamed of, something that signals we aren't good enough. In school, a failing grade is something to hide, to sweep under the rug. In business, failing can mean the end of a dream. The fear of failure can be paralyzing, and it's easy to see why so many people give up before they even begin. But here's the truth: failure is not the end, it's not even the beginning of the end. Failure is simply feedback. When you view failure as feedback, it stops being something to fear and starts being something you can use. Feedback is information, a guide. And when you embrace it, you begin to understand that failure is not a reflection of who you are, but an opportunity for improvement. The world's most successful people know this truth. They have failed many times, but they never allowed those failures to stop them. They saw each failure as a lesson, each setback as a chance to refine their approach and to come back stronger. You've heard it said that failure is not falling down but staying down. It's a powerful statement because it highlights the essence of what it takes to succeed: resilience. Success is not about avoiding failure, it's about getting up each time you fail and learning from it. The most successful people are not necessarily those who have never failed, they are the ones who have learned to use failure to their advantage. Consider this: every time you fail, you gain valuable insights. You learn what didn't work, why it didn't work, and what you can do differently. The key is to not take it personally. When you fail, it doesn't mean you're a failure, it means that something didn't go according to plan, it means that you've identified one more way not to do something, and now you're one step closer to finding the right way. Think about the process of trial and error. When you're trying something new, whether it's learning a new skill, starting a business, or pursuing a personal goal, you can't expect everything to go perfectly the first time. The first time you try anything, you're going to make mistakes. That's normal. And those mistakes are incredibly valuable, they teach you what works and what doesn't. Without them, you would never grow, never improve, never reach the next level. Let's take Thomas Edison as an example. When he was inventing the light bulb, he didn't just create it on the first try. He went through thousands of experiments, many of which ended in failure. But rather than seeing those experiments as failures, Edison saw them as feedback. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each failed experiment was simply a piece of feedback, a lesson that led him closer to success. His ability to persist, to see failure as a stepping stone instead of a roadblock, was one of the keys to his success. This mindset shift from seeing failure as a permanent state to viewing it as a temporary setback is essential if you want to succeed. It's important to understand that failure doesn't define you. What defines you is how you respond to failure. You have two choices when you fail: you can quit, or you can use it as a lesson and try again. The people who succeed are the ones who choose the latter. So, how can you start viewing failure as feedback? First, it's essential to detach your identity from your mistakes. Your mistakes are not who you are, they are simply actions that didn't produce the desired result. When you make a mistake, don't take it personally. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to see failure as a teacher instead of a punishment. Second, you need to adopt a mindset of experimentation. Instead of trying to get everything perfect, see every action as an experiment. Some experiments will work, and others won't. But each experiment brings you closer to your goal. This mindset allows you to approach life with curiosity and openness rather than fear and defensiveness. You'll start to see each failure as an opportunity to learn and grow. Third, embrace the idea that failure is an inevitable part of the process. There is no success without failure. In fact, the greater the failure, the greater the potential for growth. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn. This doesn't mean you should deliberately fail, but you should understand that failure is simply a part of the path to success. Without failure, you don't have the contrast you need to appreciate success. Remember that success doesn't happen overnight, it's the result of consistent effort, learning, and adapting. When you fail, you're not starting over from scratch, you're starting from experience. You now know what doesn't work, and that gives you a distinct advantage over someone who hasn't failed. Failure allows you to refine your approach, make adjustments, and come back stronger than before. It's also important to recognize that failure often provides a chance to pivot. Sometimes the reason something didn't work out the way you expected is because it wasn't the right approach in the first place. Failure can be a sign that you need to change direction, to try something new, or to adapt your strategy. It's a chance to reassess, to innovate, and to move forward with a new perspective. If you treat failure as feedback, you're more likely to stay flexible and open to new possibilities. Another crucial point is that failure teaches humility. It reminds you that you're not infallible, that you don't have all the answers, and that you need to keep learning and growing. This humility is essential for personal development. When you fail, you realize that there is always more to learn, you become more receptive to advice, more willing to listen, and more committed to improvement. At the same time, failure builds resilience. Every time you fail and keep going, you strengthen your ability to bounce back. Resilience is the ability to face adversity, to fall down, and to get back up again. The more you practice this, the more resilient you become, and the more you learn to handle setbacks without getting discouraged. This resilience is one of the keys to long-term success. In summary, failure is not the enemy, it's not something to avoid or fear. Failure is feedback, a valuable tool that can help you grow, learn, and improve. Every time you fail, you gain new information, a new perspective, and an opportunity to refine your approach. The most successful people are those who embrace failure as part of the process, who learn from it, and who keep moving forward. The key is not to let failure define you, but to let it guide you. Every failure is a lesson, and every lesson takes you one step closer to your goal. Chapter 9. Start believing in your abilities and take bold actions. Believing in yourself is more than just a positive affirmation or a nice phrase to tell yourself in the mirror each morning. It's a deep, foundational belief that empowers you to take bold actions, to pursue your goals with unwavering determination, and to overcome the challenges that will inevitably come your way. It's the fuel that drives you forward when fear and doubt threaten to hold you back. Many people struggle with self-doubt, believing they are not capable, not talented enough, or not worthy of success. They hold themselves back because they don't trust their own abilities. But here's the truth: your potential is limitless. The only limits are the ones you place on yourself through your beliefs. If you want to accomplish anything of significance, you must start by shifting your mindset. You must begin by believing that you are more than capable of achieving your goals. Only then can you take the bold actions that will turn your dreams into reality. The process begins by understanding that belief is not something that magically happens overnight. It is developed through practice, through taking small steps, and through consistently proving to yourself that you are capable. When you start believing in your abilities, you shift your mindset from one of fear and uncertainty to one of confidence and certainty. You stop questioning your worth and start focusing on your strengths. You stop second-guessing every move and begin trusting in your decisions. This shift in perspective is crucial because it sets the stage for the actions that will follow. Believing in yourself is not about thinking you are perfect. It's not about assuming that everything will always go as planned or that you won't face any obstacles. Belief in yourself is about knowing that no matter what happens, you have the skills, resilience, and resourcefulness to handle whatever comes your way. It's about accepting that failure will happen, but understanding that it's not a reflection of your worth or abilities. Instead, it's simply a part of the journey, an opportunity to learn, adapt, and keep moving forward. When you believe in yourself, you are more willing to take risks. Bold actions are born from a place of confidence. You become willing to step outside of your comfort zone, to challenge yourself in new ways, and to put yourself in situations that may feel intimidating but hold great potential for growth. You start making decisions with conviction, and you stop waiting for permission or for things to be perfect. You take action even when the outcome is uncertain. The key to taking bold actions lies in the willingness to embrace discomfort. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. Success doesn't come from playing it safe and sticking with what's familiar. It comes from taking risks, making mistakes, learning from them, and improving. And to do this, you need to trust that you have the ability to handle whatever comes your way. When you believe in yourself, you understand that you don't need to have everything figured out right now. You just need to start. You can course correct along the way. The most important thing is to take action. People often get stuck in the planning phase, endlessly preparing but never actually moving forward. They tell themselves that they need more knowledge, more experience, or more time before they can take the first step. But this is a trap. You can plan all you want, but without action, you'll never make any progress. Belief in yourself breaks this cycle. It's the catalyst that propels you to take the first step even when you don't have all the answers. Once you take that first step, momentum builds, and the path becomes clearer. You gain confidence with each action you take, and that confidence pushes you to take even bolder steps. You also need to understand that self-belief isn't about arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about understanding your worth and recognizing your abilities. When you believe in yourself, you respect your own potential, and you know that you deserve success. But that doesn't mean you're entitled to it. You still need to put in the work, take the actions, and make the sacrifices necessary to achieve your goals. Belief in yourself is the foundation, but the actions you take are what build the structure of your success. Start by setting clear goals for yourself. What do you want to achieve? What does success look like to you? Be specific. Once you have clarity on what you want, break it down into smaller, manageable steps. This is where self-belief becomes especially important. Each step you take will require action, and each action, no matter how small, will prove to you that you are capable of moving forward. You'll gain confidence with each completed task. Even the smallest victories matter, don't discount them. When you take bold actions, you begin to shift your mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. You stop thinking that opportunities are limited and start believing that there is an endless supply of possibilities. This shift is powerful because it opens you up to new ideas, new experiences, and new relationships that can help you grow and achieve your goals. The more you believe in your abilities, the more you see opportunities where others see obstacles. You become more creative, more resourceful, and more proactive in finding solutions to problems. It's also important to surround yourself with people who believe in you and who will support you on your journey. The people you spend time with can have a profound impact on your self-belief. If you are surrounded by people who constantly doubt you or tell you that you can't succeed, it's much harder to believe in yourself. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with people who encourage you, challenge you, and believe in your potential, your own belief in yourself grows exponentially. Seek out those who inspire you, who push you to be your best, and who hold you accountable. One of the most powerful ways to build your belief in yourself is by reflecting on your past successes. Think about times in your life when you've overcome challenges, learned something new, or achieved a goal. Reflect on the actions you took that led to those successes. What did you learn from those experiences? How did you grow? Remind yourself that you are capable of accomplishing great things. The fact that you have succeeded before means that you can succeed again. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when you question whether you're truly capable or worthy. That's normal, everyone experiences self-doubt at times. But in those moments, remember that belief in yourself is a practice, not a one-time decision. It's something you have to cultivate every day. When doubt arises, acknowledge it, but don't let it control you. Instead, counter those doubts with affirmations of your strengths and abilities. Remind yourself of past achievements, of the skills you've developed, and of the resilience you've shown in the face of adversity. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to silence doubt and move forward with confidence. Believing in your abilities also means giving yourself permission to fail. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of the process. When you take bold actions, you may not always get the results you expect. But that's okay, each failure is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to improve. The key is to keep moving forward no matter what. Success is not about avoiding failure, it's about staying committed to your goals, no matter how many setbacks you face along the way. As you continue to believe in your abilities and take bold actions, you will begin to see the results you've been working for. Your confidence will grow, and so will your success. But remember, belief in yourself is not just about achieving external success, it's also about becoming the person you are meant to be. It's about growing into the best version of yourself and realizing that you have the power to create the life you want. Believe in your abilities, take bold actions, and watch as you transform your life in ways you never thought possible. Chapter 10. Prioritize your time and energy on what truly matters. Time and energy are two of the most precious resources we have. Once they are spent, they cannot be reclaimed. This makes it essential to prioritize them wisely, focusing on what truly matters in order to achieve the life you desire. Too many people go through life being busy without being productive, filling their time with activities that ultimately do not contribute to their growth, happiness, or long-term success. They are distracted by small, insignificant things that take their focus away from their true goals. But when you make the deliberate choice to prioritize your time and energy on what truly matters, you unlock the potential for deep, lasting fulfillment. The first step in prioritizing your time and energy is clarity. You need to understand what is truly important to you. Many people get caught up in doing things because they feel like they should or because they are chasing after goals that are not even their own. Society, family, and even friends often place expectations on us, leading us to make decisions based on what others think we should be doing. But none of this is relevant to your personal growth. Your life is yours to create, and the time and energy you invest should be focused on what aligns with your values and desires. Take the time to reflect on your life. Ask yourself questions like, what are my most important goals, and what truly brings me joy and fulfillment? These are the questions that will help you define what matters most. Be honest with yourself. If you are spending your time on things that do not align with your values or your long-term goals, it's time to make a change. It's easy to get distracted by the busyness of life, but that doesn't mean the activities you're engaging in are worthwhile. When you begin to get clear on what matters most to you, you will start to see how much of your time is wasted on things that aren't aligned with your purpose. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of daily responsibilities, from work to social obligations to household tasks. These things often seem urgent, but when you step back and evaluate them, you may realize they are not as important as they appear. Ask yourself, is this helping me get closer to my goals? Is this activity in alignment with my values? If the answer is no, it might be time to reassess whether or not it deserves your time and attention. The next step in prioritizing your time and energy is learning to say no. Saying no is one of the most powerful tools you can develop in your life. Too many people struggle to set boundaries, and as a result, they end up saying yes to everything, even things that drain their energy or take them away from their goals. Saying yes to everything leaves you exhausted, overwhelmed, and unable to focus on what matters most. But when you say no, you free up your time and energy for the things that truly align with your vision. You give yourself the space to focus on the projects, people, and activities that will bring you closer to the life you want to create. Saying no isn't always easy, especially when you feel pressured by others or when you worry about disappointing people. But remember, your time and energy are limited, and you must be the guardian of both. You are not responsible for meeting everyone else's expectations, you are responsible for managing your own time and energy in a way that serves your best interests. By saying no to distractions, you create more space for things that matter. Another crucial aspect of prioritizing your time and energy is focusing on high-impact activities. Many people spend their time on things that give them a false sense of productivity but don't actually lead to meaningful results. It's easy to get caught up in tasks that seem urgent or that feel satisfying in the moment, but in the grand scheme of things, they do not move the needle in the direction of your goals. These are what I like to call low-leverage activities. They are the tasks that eat up your time without delivering much in return. Instead of filling your day with low-leverage activities, focus on high-leverage tasks that have a significant impact on your goals. These are the activities that push you forward and contribute directly to the results you want to achieve. High-leverage activities require more effort and focus, but they are well worth the investment. They might involve tackling big projects, taking on new challenges, or stepping outside of your comfort zone. But by focusing your time and energy on these high-impact activities, you position yourself for greater success. A key to prioritizing your time and energy is also ensuring that you are taking care of yourself. Self-care is not a luxury, it is a necessity. You cannot be your best, most productive self if you are not taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental health. This means making time for regular exercise, eating nourishing foods, getting enough sleep, and finding ways to relax and recharge. When you take care of your well-being, you have more energy, clarity, and focus to devote to the things that matter most. If you are neglecting your self-care, you are setting yourself up for burnout. The more you pour yourself into others or into your work without replenishing your own energy, the more you will find yourself drained and uninspired. Make it a priority to rest, to step away from the busyness of life, and to spend time doing things that nourish your soul. This might include activities like spending time in nature, meditating, reading, or engaging in hobbies that bring you joy. When you take the time to recharge, you are able to give your best to the things that truly matter. As you begin to focus your time and energy on what matters most, you will inevitably face obstacles and distractions. Life will continue to throw challenges your way, and it's easy to be pulled in many different directions. However, the key is to stay committed to your priorities. Remind yourself of your values, your goals, and your vision for your life. Whenever you feel distracted or overwhelmed, come back to your why. Why are you doing this? What is the end goal you are working toward? Reconnect with your purpose, and let that be the driving force that keeps you focused on what matters. Another important strategy for prioritizing your time and energy is to regularly evaluate how you are spending your days. Take a step back every so often and assess whether or not your actions are aligned with your goals. Are you spending too much time on things that aren't getting you closer to where you want to be? Are there areas of your life where you could be more intentional with your time? Regular self-reflection is essential for staying on track and making sure you are prioritizing the right things. Time is a limited resource, and every moment you spend is one you will never get back. When you commit to prioritizing your time and energy on what truly matters, you are actively choosing the life you want to create. By saying no to distractions, focusing on high-impact activities, taking care of yourself, and regularly evaluating your actions, you build a foundation for long-term success and fulfillment. The more intentional you are with your time, the more you will find that your energy is naturally aligned with your goals, and you will make meaningful progress toward creating the life you desire.